The confusing pre-birth of the Pixel 5a 5G has started with twists and turns that you simply wouldn't have expected. So let's try and clear up any confusion and give you the lowdown on the upcoming mid-range made by Google phone. Thanks for watching 9to5 Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then tap the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. So we all know that COVID-19 has changed the way that smartphone launches take place, and with the delayed release of the Pixel 4a last year, any potential follow-up following the I/O 2021 launch period would likely be stunted due to the cramped release schedule. The Pixel 5a 5G even coming to market at all was a big question mark due to smartphone chip shortages, but things have really changed in the space of a few days, so let's lay it all out so that you can better understand just what's going on. A huge ongoing problem area for just about every smartphone set to be released in 2021 will be if or when they are available for purchase. Last year we saw the Pixel 4a slip the proposed May 2020 release timeframe due to COVID-19, which slipped then to August 2020 in the US and Japan. Other global markets actually had to wait until October 2020, which kind of confused things as the entry-level device launch fell right alongside that of the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5 in some global markets. To say things are a little bit of a confusing mess was an understatement. The biggest problem area within the 2020 made by Google lineup is that of the Pixel 4a 5G. It's quite a confusing device as it leverages far too much of what makes the Pixel 5 premium versus the accessibility and affordability of the Pixel 4a. Because of global chip shortages, it looked as though we might not have even seen a follow-up this year, but after initial claims to the contrary, Google has just outright confirmed that the Pixel 5a 5G is set to hit shelves around the same time as the Pixel 4a. That would put the official launch sometime in August 2021. Let's break that down though, as on the one hand this is good for spacing, but also fairly close to any of the late 2020 launch of the Pixel 6 series for instance. The only upside to this nearby launch is that Google has only confirmed the US and Japan as markets for the Pixel 5a. Global chip shortages are almost playing havoc with every area of technology, so until hardware availability increases, it's unlikely that other regions will get the latest affordable Pixel smartphones this year. This might not be too big of a deal with the proposed Pixel 6 set to launch in late 2021 with its own chipset. Leaked renders suggest that the Pixel 4a 5G design is just getting recycled again with the Pixel 5a. Is that a bad thing? Well, it's sensible at the very least. That means less waste of parts and a fairly nice overall aesthetic that fits in with the rest of the Pixel series from 2020 onwards. We say recycled design though, as the proposed dimensions suggest that it's 2.3mm taller, 0.8mm narrower, and 0.6mm thicker. That might not seem like much, but you might notice some very minor changes when it's in the hand. A unibody rear panel is expected to be used yet again, and like the 3a and 4a, the Pixel 5a 5G is expected to be made from plastic rather than glass to help lower cost. It's not known for certain, but we could even see a ridged or textured power button to help differentiate between the previous series. Let's also hope that Google adds a little bit of colour here, as it's always a nice little playful design touch that they add to every device. Expect a large 6.2-inch Full HD Plus OLED display that will be very close to that of the Pixel 4a 5G, even despite that very minor size difference. These early renders also suggest that the upper left display cutout will be retained too. There's no word on the display refresh rate, but let's hope that we get a nice high refresh rate for the first time on an A series Pixel. The camera system is another notable improvement over the Pixel 4a by jumping to a dual lens setup, but again, it's said to be the same configuration as seen on the Pixel 4a 5G and Pixel 5. That means 12.2 megapixel dual pixel and 16 megapixel ultra wide lenses. Other shared specs as this is an A series phone include the 3.5mm headphone jack and rear pixel imprint fingerprint sensor. There are also going to be two cutouts for a speaker and microphone, flanking the downward firing USB-C port. So hearing that, you might find it hard to be enthused by this proposed design, but this may actually help Google keep production costs lower and therefore help pass on the savings to us with lower entry pricing. Let's hope that it matches the sub $400 pricing of the Pixel 4a from last year, but that said, we simply don't know at this stage. So that's the design, but realistically we're just as in the dark about what the Pixel 5a 5G will be packing as you are. Although we have a solid starting point to work from simply as 5G is a core component here, but to reiterate, at this stage we simply don't know enough to confidently state what the latest affordable Pixel series will be packing inside. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's start with the potential chipset. There are a number of options here, and we can probably get a fairly good idea of the minimum performance levels on this upcoming mid-ranger. This is all heavily dependent on the usage of a Qualcomm chipset though. If the Pixel 5a 5G does stick with Qualcomm, there are exactly 4 Snapdragon chips that this smartphone could utilise. They include the Snapdragon 480, the Snapdragon 690, the 765G and the 768G. It's highly unlikely though that the Pixel 5a will use the entry-level Snapdragon 480, so it's probably safe to disregard this chip. Expect to see that in the real entry-level devices from the likes of Nokia. However, it's a little bit less clear if this mid-ranger will utilise the Snapdragon 690 or the 768G. Some will undoubtedly suggest the 765G found in the Pixel 5 and Pixel 4a 5G will be used, confusing things even further. Google has proven though that the 765G is more than enough or more than powerful enough to run their flagship devices, so it would be a welcome choice for the 5a. As much as we'd love to be able to confirm a chipset for you, at this stage we're simply not sure. No evidence has been forthcoming from Google and we've found none of our own. Now logically though, if the Pixel 5a 5G does come with a Qualcomm chipset, it could very well be the last Pixel device to include one. With the Pixel 6 set to pack a Google co-developed silicon, then it might be worthwhile holding out a little while longer, although the Pixel 5a will be targeted towards a completely different market to the flagship Pixel 6. We're sure that we'll learn more over the coming months as more information slowly emerges. It's probably the same story for the other specifications, but we would expect at least 128GB space storage and a 6GB of RAM to fit in with the rest of the late 2020 Pixel series. Take all of what we're saying here though with a grain of salt though, as things can change fairly quickly, as we found out recently. That said, if the tried and tested formula is followed, the Pixel 5a 5G could simply be the Pixel 4a 5G Plus or the Pixel 4a 5G S, which is likely enough for most people looking for a mid-range made by Google phone in 2021. But all in all, that's effectively everything we know at this stage. It's not quite enough to really determine if the Pixel 5a will be a must-buy from anyone coming from say the Pixel 2 or 3a series, but it could be yet another awesome option come release later this year. With that said though, what are you thinking? Are you excited for the Pixel 5a 5G or have you just lost interest knowing that it might be a bit of a rehash? Let us know down in the comment section below, but until next time, this is Damien with 9to5 Google saying thanks for watching and I will speak to you later.